What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to our channel. You got Jordan J here.
And Sheila.
And we are on Let's Talk. So last week we discussed the Brat and Judy, the first episode. Now we are back for episode number 2. Okay, and this one's a little exciting as well. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so starting back with episode number 2, obviously Dabrat had to come back home because that's where she laid her head, and apparently they don't have any other homes, or else they wouldn't be looking for homes to rent as their house is getting remodeled for 10 days. They wouldn't be looking to spend $6,000. Okay. Anyways, so I think it took about 30 minutes tops.
Yeah, it did. It took 30 minutes.
For the Brat to come on back home.
Even though when the Brat left, she told Judy that she need to sit there and figure out what she did wrong.
Well, yeah, think about her actions. You know, had to reprimand her for
so yeah,
and not answering her phone.
Yeah, and then she drove off up the driveway 100 miles per hour, only to come back. When? 30
minutes later. Not even an hour.
Oh,
you couldn't go to the store, to the mall, to Walmart. You couldn't get lost
sure that was an impact. I'm sure that was. I'm sure Judy was shaking like, "Ooh, where's the Brat?"
Immediately came.
She probably knew the Brat was.
We're not gonna say it was scripted or nothing. I guess it.
No,
was,
I don't. That part, I really don't think it was scripted. I think. I mean, come on. Of course, some things are scripted, but I think once they get into their conversation and start going back and forth, I kind of feel like that's less scripted.
And Dabrat, Judy kicked out the camera people out. If I was Dabrat, Judy, and they kicked me out, I would have been gone. I would have been there for 30 minutes. So that's just why I say, obviously all shows are scripted, but nevertheless, so I guess, they hashed out their little differences, and I do see where the Brat was coming from as far as, you could at least, respond back with something saying, hey, I'm busy, because I know I get mad with my man if he don't message me all day. I'm going in like, what the hell? So that was...
Yeah, and I kind of understand. I understand the Brat for feeling the way she felt about, like he said, Judy not responding, not even emailing her, not texting her back. It was just a lot. So, yeah, I do kind of feel the Brat on that, and I do think, Judy, you could have answered the Brat. You've been with her for 2 years. You know your partner, and your partner's the Brat. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. 2 years. I'm trying to think. In a relationship that's 2 years in, are you still calling your significant other every day, trying to get a response out of them every day? Like,
yeah, I would think so. Yes, I mean, to me,
you don't have that conversation.
You're even more connected. You should be more connected in 2 years than you were the first year. So, I guess my point is, you know your partner. So if you have a partner who calls you all day, who you normally will answer or email, then I think you don't stop. So my thing is, you play the rules of the game. So my thing is, when you start with certain rules, you don't get into the middle of the relationship and change things. Now, maybe I'm wrong, so please let me know if I'm wrong.
Wow.
But if you start a relationship a certain way, why does it seem like it's okay for all of a sudden for you to decide?
Relationships change, they evolve, they grow. Like, I'm not going to be with somebody multiple years and we got to talk and text every day. Like,
I mean, okay,
maybe other people
you say that, but I guess my thing is, you don't wait until 2 years into the relationship to have that conversation. Like, sweetie, I enjoy speaking to you all day, every day, but there's times when I can't talk to you all day, every day. So the best thing is for us maybe to have designated times that we speak, or maybe some kind of designated code when you text that something says urgent, want to talk to you now, need to really talk. Then I'll pick up. But if I'm in meetings all day and you texting me all day, I'm not trying to be funny. How can I call you back and actually be in my meetings and doing constructive work towards our business to grow it? I mean, maybe I ask you so. So I guess this is what I mean. when I say whatever rules you start the game, you don't wait to 2 years to decide that, oh, sweetie, I don't like how that's making me feel. I want to change. You have an indication early in the relationship if there's a problem. So I think, now this is me personally, I'm not a therapist, but I think that you should address issues as early as they start happening so that you can resolve stuff. Okay. And obviously,
there's a lot of unresolved issues.
There's a lot of unresolved issues
between them two because
as the show continues.
Exactly, continuation from episode 1 and what we discussed about, Judy being a workaholic and that kind of affecting the relationship.
And Dabrat doesn't like her answering the phone or taken away from her quality time.
And one thing that did come up was the fact that they were in a pandemic, so a lot of things were shut down. When you're shut down, you were also shut in. So some people grew.
I'm sure everybody knows. Do y'all remember 2020? If so, let me know what were you doing in 2020.
It's coming back. So a lot of people either grew together or they grew apart because of this pandemic and being stuck, in the house with someone all day. It seems that they enjoyed each other's space a lot, and at least the Brat definitely did. I think Judy is kind of,
because the Brat
wanted to be a little bit free.
We did everything together. We do everything together. We go every place
and that's not the first time hearing that they've been together a lot. I think also co-workers and people outside of the relationship definitely hinted towards them being, together stuck like glue.
All the time.
But now that, COVID is dying down a little bit, I mean, cases are going up, obviously, but we get a little bit more freedom nowadays. So Judy has been out more and about, and Dabrat is kind of just missing her babe. Like, I need you here with me. Like, where are you? But
so I think okay, go ahead.
Oh my God, I keep getting them confused. Judy, her business never stopped. So I still don't understand how they were together all the time.
No, I mean, I just think
that... she wasn't going to the radio station.
Right, she was probably working from home. And Judy was working from home. So it wasn't like Judy was going anywhere. Because on this episode, Judy even shows us her new warehouse that she's actually purchased. And now for the first time, she's going to have all her supplies, all her hair supplies, everything in one building, one massive warehouse. But she was so excited because it's the first time she's ever had it. So that allows us to know during COVID, that wasn't the case. She probably had it in different locations, and then she had to ship. When people ordered, she had to ship. It's a lot to owning and running a business, okay? So when I hear Dabrat like on Judy, I hate to say it, I kind of feel a little bit for Judy, only because I've been in her position, I'm in her position, and if someone calls you, you have to answer the phone. Like if you have multiple shifts or you have people working 7 days a week, but you're home, I guess after your 8 hours and the phone rings, guess what? You got to pick it up, because if something happens, you're the one responsible. You're the one that's holding the bag. So I completely understand, because I've been in this position for like over 10 years now. And being on call for 10 years, vacation, you're on call. You don't have that luxury to have vacation, to be at home. If the phone rings, you need to pick it up. And that's what Judy's doing. Sorry, I do
when
understand.
You're starting out and building your company, but she's got a $40 million company. She doesn't have to be there on call 24/7. You can hire a number 2.
But wait, did you realize her number 2 just came to Atlanta? Her number 2. Yeah, that's her director of operations. She just moved. So there again, it goes to show she's trying to get things in place, and she does. I'm almost sure Judy knows she has to spend time with Dabrat. Yeah. Anything that you want to grow, you have to put time in. You know what I'm saying? You have to, you just have to cherish your time and put in that time to make sure it starts to grow and it continues to grow. So I think Judy knows that, and I think that's one of the reasons why Judy has her director of operation finally moving here to help her. So she will have some free time. So, she's working on it. She's working on it.
Because even though, like you said, her number 2 was in New Orleans, she still should have had a great deal of responsibility where Judy
sure
don't
she
have to
did.
sit
I'm
there,
sure she did.
be on the phone, be emailing.
But guess what? At the
doing
same
all of
time,
this.
if they were in COVID and her second in control was in New Orleans and she was here, there was a lot of phone calls, right? Wouldn't you say that they had to do a lot of talking over the phone, a lot of meetings, just to, you know, find out, keep on top of what's going on?
I don't know. I don't have a $40 million
I don't know.
company.
What do you think? So
No,
let me just think, if you have a business and your number 2 is in another state and you all are confined in the house, do you think that you're probably doing a lot of phone conversations and video conferences? I do. But anyway, I think they'll get it right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
they will get it right.
They'll get it. They'll get it right.
Sure.
You know, and you can tell, but there again, Judy is trying. But now, one thing that you see when Judy was kind of hesitant to tell her about her daughter, Deja, and her, I think her son. Yeah, they're actually moving to Atlanta, and she already knew ahead of time that they were moving, and so I'm not saying. Well, you think she was a little scared to tell Dabrat?
Yeah,
okay, is that what it was? Okay,
nervous because now you got someone coming into your space that's a grown adult.
Yeah.
So having grown kids come back into your house when you're trying to make it work with your significant other, and y'all already going through it.
That's true.
And you got your business that you just moved here, so you still got to get that set up too. It's kind of be like, you know, I'm not going to have as much time for you, and they're still doing renovations on the house.
Okay, so let me ask you, how did you think Dabrat took it when Judy told her that her daughter and her grandchild was coming?
I don't really know how Dabrat took it. It seemed to me like she kind of sugarcoated it a little bit. Like she didn't really address the issue. She kind of the conversation just took a whole different kind of turn, really. I don't know if Dabrat was drunk or...
Not drunk. No, I don't know. She was drinking.
Because it's just...
Isn't that when she was drinking her red cup of Henny? You remember she had a red cup of Hennessy. I'm sure it looked like it probably had Coke in it. I can't imagine, and ice.
Oh, yeah, I think it was Coke in it.
Yeah, Coke in it. But still... Dabrat wasn't feeling no pain, that's for sure. But no, she wasn't feeling no pain.
She wasn't feeling her coming over here, but she definitely didn't address that issue either.
No, like she didn't address it.
She just kind of started speaking incoherently about a lot of nothing. like a lot of nothing. So I don't know. Maybe they had that conversation off camera. Like she didn't want to get into it on camera because
well, she did tell, but she did tell Judy that she needed to pay attention, right? Then she said, "You need to pay attention to me and the dogs." You remember?
They're babies, not the dogs. They would be very, very. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Not the dog. Babies. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's their babies.
6 kids.
They're 6 babies. But I know the brat told us that you need to prioritize me and the babies until Deja and her grandchild comes to town. So,
but now the Brat also has a $9 million lawsuit on her hands, so we gotta kind of prioritize that. If you lose, we need to prioritize them bills getting paid now as well. So.
True that. Yeah, that is a bit much. $9 million. But one thing about it though, she's definitely worried about it, and I can see she doesn't want Judy to have pay like what she's created out of her, you know, from her business for her. No, as she should. But I'm just saying she is, you know, how should I say? She worries about, you know, that being a problem for Judy. That, you know, it could become a potential problem for Judy. So Dabrat does worry about that. So I mean, I think that's pretty honorable on Dabrat's part.
Yeah.
So yeah. So what about the rings? Are we going to talk about that?
Oh, go ahead. You go ahead, start.
So, Judy went in to the jeweler with their assistant. Is she their assistant?
Yeah,
assistant. With their assistant. And she decided to not buy 1 ring, not buy 2 rings, but to buy 3 custom-made rings for Dabrat, totaling over $750,000. million for these 3 rings.
1,000. No way.
Oh, 1,000. I did say million. Then I was like, ooh, millions. That did sound a lot.
I see, got
okay,
that much there.
1,000. Sorry, Judy.
1,000.
750,000. And this is what she's buying, and she's keeping them in Jessica's Birkin bag. That's where she's keeping it in the house, so she can keep it from Dabrat finding out. But now she's actually carrying these 3 rings in her purse. Yes. And she's carrying over $750,000 in her purse.
So let's hope that, Judy starts answering her phone.
and maybe what Dabrat said about what's going on in Atlanta, and that Judy should be worried. Yeah, Judy, you may need to be worried. So if I was you, Judy, I'd put them rings up. But probably by now, Dabrat has them by now, right? Because when they film,
sure by
it's
now.
just early.
Oh,
But
yeah,
still,
I'm sure
but
by
just
now.
Judy, in the future, be careful. Stop carrying 3 rings custom made.
So I guess she's gonna switch them out every week.
Worth up to $750,000 in your purse. Okay, please don't stop.
She's gonna switch her rings out every week. I see.
Yeah, she will. She
Depending on what occasion it is.
Well, let's get into talking about Dabrat's friend. What about her friend Montana, who came over?
I don't know. So Dabrat brings out her friend onto the show, I guess, to add more drama and more content to the series.
Well, he could just be a good friend. Why got to be controversial? Like, I just want to bring my friend.
You can't have a TV show and not have drama. No one is gonna watch it.
Well, I think Dabrat did a good thing. She became a therapist on the show.
We did get to see her skills as a therapist, not licensed.
So Dabrat having problems with Judy. Okay, but now she can be a therapist and help her.
Somebody that's married.
Good friend.
A married
man
exactly.
Who's having problems.
With his wife.
Okay, so did anybody see it? Is anybody curious to know how Dabrat did? Can you tell us how did Dabrat do with Montana?
Pass or fail? I think it was a fail. I will go ahead and say it was a fail. He definitely didn't listen to her. He didn't listen to his wife. I think he just heard what he wanted to hear, and he was out.
But then let's just I know Dabrat said that's a very good friend, and that they used to, they knew each other, I guess. I don't know if they knew, they had to know each other prior to both of them doing some jail time, prison time, or whatever. And they used to write each other in prison. And then once both of them got out, they just rekindled their friendship. But with that being said, Dabrat didn't seem to know a whole lot about her friend. Like Montana, she was like, oh yeah, y'all been married for y'all been together for 5 years. And he was like, no, we've been together for 9 years. Then Dabrat was like, oh yeah, that's right, y'all been married for 5. He was like, no, we've been married for 3. I was like, Dabrat, do you know anything about this good friend of yours? Because right now you bang,
just don't know
0 out of 2.
She can't remember details.
How long he's been with his wife. You don't know how long they've been married. So, Dabrat, you doing therapy? You need to look and find out some of the background in his relationship so you can kind of help him. Yeah, so you can help him, because he was very emotional. He was very emotional.
Definitely.
But at the same time, him being emotional, he was kind of mean. He had like a little attitude, He was like, and I'm like, how are you emotional, sad, sensitive, and then mad at the same time? How that work? Nobody can't talk to you. You sensitive, you crying, but then you mad at the same time. And so he was kind of, all I can do is wish him and Rhonda was his wife, I wish them the best of luck. Montana, you seem to have a wonderful wife, but there again, it's only going to ever be you and her that can make this relationship work. Anybody outside can't help it work. And trust me, Dabrat got her own thing going on with Judy. So, Dabrat is trying. She means well for you all. But if you need some therapy, you need to go talk to a real counselor.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. That's what you need to do.
You need to talk to a real counselor. And let me let you know, Montana, you need to work very hard on keeping this 9-year, probably now 10-year relationship. Because I can tell you, there's not a lot out here, okay, for you to build on. People are so superficial until now. When you meet them, it's really about what you have and what you can offer somebody. Then they start to try to build a relationship with you. When you were with her, and I don't know anything about really your background, so I don't know if you were with her prior to you going to prison. But if you was with her in prison and she stood by you, and now I think when you started your business, she's been with you the entire time. You know, you may want to go ahead and work on this relationship. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure there's a lot of, nice looking women out here, and I'm sure and I know for a fact there are a lot of women who are doing very well. But at the same time, this is something that you've already built. So why would you tear down the house that you've already built? But that's just me. So anyway, Dabrat, this second episode, how do you feel?
I thought the first one was a little bit more interesting, but this one definitely gives you a deeper look into the relationship, and you can definitely see like the issues that are building and foreshadowing. This is gonna keep coming back up. I'm definitely hoping they can work through it because they're so cute together.
So cute.
So cute.
What about when Dabrat was standing up like on the hill, and she was like, "Judy, I'm like taller than you. I can see all the way over your head." You remember how
this was during her incoherent moment?
Anyway, it doesn't matter whether it was incoherent. It was still nice and sweet, though, right?
No, because that even then didn't end well. So that little portion of the scene, on the show, that didn't end well.
Some things are not. Yeah, some things are kind of like need some work. Yeah. But at the same time, there are definitely some cute moments, though. You got to admit there are some cute moments.
I think they definitely made.
And I'll be honest with you. I think Dabrat loves Judy, and I think Judy loves Dabrat. So
Judy loves Dabrat.
Yeah. So I think that, to be honest, I think that's what the show should have been. Dabrat loves Judy. Judy loves Dabrat. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe that'll be their season 2. Their remix show.
Yeah, and give me credit. Let's talk with Sheila and Jordan.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. We will be back next week with another topic. Yeah.
And before you leave, please hit that subscribe button. Hit it. Hit the notification button so that when we come back on, it will notify you that we're coming on. And hopefully, again, ask any comments, make any comments that you have, any suggestions or anything, any comments that you have, any questions or anything that you want us to talk about maybe in the future. And hopefully soon we'll be going live, and then we can also have you all help, actually be our audience, and then you can just talk to us and ask us anything you want. So with that being said, thanks for being here on Let's Talk with Sheila
and Jordan J.
And you have a good evening.
See you next week.
See you next week.